My brother, who is a computer engineer, installed spyware on my laptop and has been monitoring everything I do for months. Then I found a hidden camera in my bathroom. I got a restraining order and my parents disowned me for reporting him to the police. My brother Will has always been the golden child. Scholarships, Dean's List, six-figure job at a software company by 25. My parents talk about him like he's the greatest thing they ever produced. I'm 3 years younger and I've always been the background. I don't have a flashy career or a big salary. I work at an insurance office and I live in a small one-bedroom apartment and I've built a quiet life that I'm proud of, even if nobody in my family thinks it's worth mentioning. Will and I were never close, but we weren't enemies. We just existed in different parts of the same family, and I never had any reason to think that was a problem. Will and I saw each other at holidays and the occasional family dinner, but that was about it. We texted maybe once a month. I thought we were fine. That changed last October. I'd been having problems with my laptop for weeks. It was running painfully slow, apps I hadn't opened were launching on their own in the background, and my battery was draining twice as fast as it should have been. I thought it was just old until I had someone look at it. I brought it to a repair shop and the tech called me over after 20 minutes. Someone installed monitoring software on this machine. It's recording your keystrokes, screenshots, browser history, and it has access to your webcam. I felt physically sick. My hands went cold. He showed me the program. It was buried deep in the system files, disguised as a driver update, professional level work, not something a random hacker would bother with on a personal laptop. I thought about who'd had access. Will came over for dinner 3 weeks earlier and asked to borrow my laptop to check something because his phone was dead. I handed it to him without a second thought. He had it for about 15 minutes while I was in the other room making dinner. 15 minutes was all he needed. I went home and sat on my couch for a long time trying to figure out who would do something like that to me. There was only one person who had both the access and the skill. I called Will that night. I didn't accuse him directly. I just described what the tech found and asked if he knew anything about it. He laughed. Why would I spy on you? Your life isn't that interesting. He said it was probably malware I picked up from a sketchy website. He told me to run a full scan and stop worrying so much. His voice was so calm and so confident that I almost believed him. I wanted to believe him because the alternative was too horrible to think about. Then 2 weeks later, I found the camera. I was cleaning my bathroom on a Saturday morning. I moved the shelf above the toilet to dust behind it, and something small and black fell onto the floor. It was about the size of a thumb drive with a tiny lens on one end. It had been carefully mounted behind the shelf with some kind of adhesive, angled directly at the shower. I stood in my own bathroom holding a device that someone had pointed at the exact spot where I shower and get dressed every single day. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I felt violated in the one place in the world that was supposed to be completely mine. I called my best friend Lena. She came over in 20 minutes. She looked at the device and told me to call the police right now. I did. 2 officers took the camera and my laptop. They asked who had access to my apartment. Will had a spare key. He'd had it since I moved in 2 years ago for emergencies. He'd been inside my apartment at least a dozen times when I wasn't there, to water my plants, to grab packages, to feed my cat when I traveled. I gave him full access to my life because I trusted him completely. The police traced the camera to an online order placed 3 months earlier with Will's personal credit card. The spyware on the laptop matched software tools that are commonly used by engineers in his exact field. They brought him in. He sat in an interview room and denied everything for about an hour, then admitted to the spyware but said the camera wasn't his. The credit card receipt said otherwise. I filed for a restraining order the next morning. The judge reviewed the evidence, the camera, the spyware, the credit card trail, and granted it the same week. Will was charged with unlawful surveillance and unauthorized access to a computer system. His lawyer tried to get bail conditions reduced. The judge said no. The day after the charges were filed, Mom called. I expected support. I expected her to be horrified at what her son had done to her daughter. Instead, she said, "You need to drop this. He put a camera in my bathroom. He made a mistake. He's your brother. You're going to destroy his career. He watched me in the shower. He read my private messages for months. I'm not saying it was right, but police? A restraining order? That's extreme. A hidden camera in my bathroom is extreme. Dad got on the phone. If you go through with these charges, we can't support you. Will has a future. What about my safety? He's just curious. He's always been like that with computers. Curious. My father called his son filming his daughter in the shower curious. My parents haven't called me in 4 months.